Here is a backspin demonstration. Close, far, close. Today, let's talk about the forehand framework. The forehand framework is absolutely crucial. By observing other players, I identified a key issue. The reason they lift their upper arm is that it fails to stop, improperly taking over the function of the forearm. This extends the swing path unnecessarily, resulting in an improper follow-through. A player's follow-through finishes too far across the body because their upper arm is moving excessively inward. This specific upper arm path is why he consistently hits the net. Additionally, his head isn't facing forward. To compensate, he began lifting his upper arm, feeling he couldn't lift the ball with just his forearm. Many amateur players overuse their upper arm. A proper stroke must be broken down into functional phases. For the forehand drive, phase 1 is projecting forward into the ball. Phase 2, after contact, is accelerating into the follow-through. For a loop against backspin, phase 1 is brushing the ball to create friction. Afterwards, the forearm drives forward and completes the stroke. These are distinct actions. Amateurs often err by executing the stroke in one single motion, either entirely forward or entirely upward. The biggest reason for a powerless forehand is retracting the arm or simply pushing at the ball immediately upon contact. The correct motion is to project forward and out to the side, letting your arm extend like a whip before contracting inward for the follow-through. This principle is why my drives and loops both have power. The forehand motion is an outward extension followed by an inward contraction. But a common mistake is contracting inward too early. Let me show you in slow motion the two common mistakes amateurs make. This is the first mistake. And this is the second. If you pull inward and upward immediately after your backswing, you will not generate power. I believe this is a very common and significant problem for amateur players. Let's break the swing into points A, B, and C. A is the backswing. B, contact point, is actually further out than A. C, A, B, A, B. When you reach point B, that's the drive forward motion. And C is the follow-through. Because this isn't taught in phases, players assume they should pull in immediately at contact. In reality, the hip rotation projects the racket forward to point B. The trajectory for a loop is A, B, C. If you carefully watch the forehands of Sun Ing Sha, Ma Long, or Fan Zhendong, their swing path is always close to the body, backswing, then far, contact, then close again, follow through. It's a close far close principle. Their outward arc is fully utilized. Even when they are jammed by the ball, the close far close sequence is maintained. They also follow a close far close path to complete their swing. The problem for amateurs is that the motion is too fast, so they skip the forward projection and go straight into the inward or upward follow-through. Watch my demonstration on a middle ball. A is the backswing. Hip rotation brings the racket out to B. Then C is the follow-through. Using this white line as a reference, point A, point B, point C. All together now, A, B, C. A, B. Notice that point B is out here, C. Now for looping a backspin ball. If the white line is the contact point, your backswing must be close to your body. Feed me a backspin ball. Did you see the swing path from A to B? Again, swing. Now, watch my swing path when I add the brushing motion. I'll turn my body more to the side so you can all see it clearly. A, B, A, B, A, B. If you are not satisfied with your forehand loop framework, try to find this feeling. Practice with your navel facing the side, backswing near your right hip, and hit a ball fed to your middle. The reason a sidestep forehand feels more powerful is that turning your body makes it easier to find that feeling of extension. Also, when your body is turned, you can generate more force. The body's kinetic chain and angle of rotation are different from a square stance. However, you must apply the same feeling to your forehand drive. If your drive framework is correct, your loop framework will be correct. To generate real power in your forehand, you must have this close far close swing path. Here is another backspin demonstration. Close, far, close. When you connect them, the shot is explosive. This applies to drives as well. For example, in a backhand to forehand transition, the forehand must follow the close far close principle. A far close path will not generate power. The farv point is the key to accelerating back towards your body. The initial close position is to help you find and time the ball correctly. Next, let's talk about the pivot points of the forehand framework. The shoulder, elbow, and wrist are three joints prone to error. At the exact moment of impact, these three key joints must be stable and not wobble. During a drive, the shoulder and elbow must be stable. The elbow should not move up or down. The wrist must also be fixed and should not wobble. When looping backspin, the wrist can be active, but the elbow and shoulder joints must remain stable and not move. Any movement in those joints will lead to errors, so you must keep them locked in. If you can get these three joints right, the rest of the motion becomes much simpler. Your stroke will look much better. Just brace these joints and your form will be clean. It's the same for the drive, keep it braced. Keep it braced. The reason your technique looks awkward is instability. The elbow lifts, you push with the arm, or the wrist flips or wobbles. The upper and lower arm are not the main culprits. The root causes instability in the shoulder, elbow, and wrist. If you want a stable stroke, focus on bracing these three joints. Your technique will look good, remain consistent over many shots, and your potential will be much higher.